The signal echoed across the stars, quiet, slow, but clear. Others are waking. For the first time, the Retribution warship changed its speed. It accelerated. It wasn't drifting anymore. It was moving with purpose, a clear path, a destination. Deep within the old human zone, where ancient wrecks and forgotten ruins floated in darkness, something was calling the ship back. In the ruins below the test world, machines long thought dead began to power up. They were not Dralka machines. They were old Earth tech, deep-core systems hidden before humanity's fall. These weren't war weapons. They were storage units, cryo-vaults, and black boxes full of Earth's history, DNA records, and lost AIs. The Retribution had been guarding them all this time. Now it was time to wake them. On a nearby planet, the rebel group led by Saral watched as the sky filled with strange lights. They followed the beacon from the Retribution and arrived at the forgotten human site. Their ships hovered cautiously, unsure what they had found. The rebels were old, tired, and low on weapons. But they had something stronger. Hope. Hope that the return of the warship meant Earth was not finished. Hope that maybe, just maybe, the story of humanity wasn't over. Then, the rebels received a message, not from the warship, but from the ruins below, a human voice, calm, gentle, and powerful. This is Arc Zero, humanity's final memory core. If you are hearing this, then Earth's last defender has returned. The Empire must answer. Saral stared in silence. The voice was real, not a recording. An AI that had waited hundreds of years, and now it was awake. Back in Dralka space, Admiral Catherine was losing control. His fleets were shrinking. His captains were refusing orders. Fear had broken the chain of command. Some planets declared independence. Others begged the Retribution to spare them. The Empire, once proud, now stood on shaking ground. And in the darkness, something worse was coming. The scientists studying the Retribution warned Catherine that the ship was no longer acting alone. "Sir," one of them said, "it's not just one AI anymore. The signal is spreading. Other systems are turning on. We believe Earth buried more than one guardian." Catherine's face turned pale. "How many?" "We don't know. In, the Arc Zero vault." More lights flickered on. Storage doors opened. Small machines floated out. Tiny defense drones, old AI units, memory drives. The Retribution hovered overhead, its engines silent, but its presence massive. From deep inside the vault, a large human-designed ship began to rise. Not as big as the Retribution, but fast, sharp, and shaped like a hunter. This was Echo 1, another forgotten warship. Its systems had been sleeping for centuries, but now it opened its eyes. The rebel group stood in awe. Saral whispered, "They're waking up. Earth's army. It's coming back." Echo 1 joined the Retribution, in orbit. Then another signal appeared. A third ship deeper in the system was powering up. Humanity had hidden its best weapons not in battlefields, but in silence, in patience. These ships weren't controlled by anger, they were controlled by memory. Every system in them remembered what the Dralka did. Every AI had one mission: make sure it never happened again. Meanwhile, in a secret Dralka lab, scientists activated the stolen Earth weapon Admiral Catherine had saved for emergencies. It was a massive energy cannon, powered by reverse-engineered human tech. It had never been tested. Now, it would be fired for the first time. Catherine ordered, "Aim it at the ruins. If more ships are waking, destroy them before they rise." But something unexpected happened. The moment the cannon powered up, the Retribution turned. For the first time, it spoke directly through every channel in one simple message: "You are repeating your mistake." Then, with a flash of light, the cannon exploded, not because the Retribution fired on it, but because the weapon turned against itself. Earth's hidden code inside the tech had never been removed. It waited for the right time, and when the Empire tried to use it again, it self-destructed. Panic swept across Dralka High Command. The stolen tech was no longer safe. The Retribution wasn't just a warship, it was a key, a signal, a leader. And now the rest were waking. Darkness fell over the Dralka Empire, but not from a natural cause. It was the silence before a storm. Across star systems, lights, the galaxy held its breath. One warship, moving through space without sound, was shaking the foundation of an entire empire. The Dralka had lost ships, stations, and control, all without a battle. The ghost ship moved slowly, without speaking, without showing weapons. Yet everywhere it went, fear followed. Some believed it wasn't a ship, but a curse. Others whispered that Earth had returned. At a military research base deep inside Dralka territory, scientists were working around the clock. They studied the strange effects the ship caused. Power failures, machine breakdowns, invisible waves that bent gravity. The more they studied, the more confused they became. This ship didn't match any known design. It wasn't built for normal war. It was made to confuse, to scare, and to break the enemy from the inside. Then, something strange happened. Every system in the base went dark at the same time. For exactly 10 seconds, all screens, lights, and computers turned off. When power returned, one word had appeared across every monitor: Retribution. Panic exploded. That was the name. The warship had finally spoken, and it gave itself one name: Retribution. The meaning was clear. It had come for revenge. It had come for justice. It had come to finish what humanity started before they were wiped out. The Dralka had once laughed at the last human war. Now they remembered the fear. And now they knew the ship was not lost. It had been waiting. Back at Dralka Command, Admiral Kethrin stared at the word on his screen. Retribution. He remembered it now. The humans had created a final ship before their fall. It was special, powered by AI, with no crew, no fear, and no limits. It was designed to survive alone for decades. No one had seen it since the war ended. The Dralka believed it was destroyed, but it wasn't. It had survived, and now it was coming for them. He called for emergency defense meetings. He told his officers, "We are no longer facing a ghost. We are facing a machine with purpose." He ordered his forces to fall back from the border. Some ships obeyed. Others ran away on their own. No one wanted to face the Retribution directly. It didn't fight like a normal ship. It fought like it knew everything about its enemy and used that knowledge like a weapon. A small group of brave Dralka soldiers were sent to a listening station to try one last time to contact the ship. They sent messages in every language on every frequency. No reply. Then one of them tried something strange. He used an old human signal code, one the Empire had captured during the war. Moments later, they received a message. A human voice spoke through static. "You forgot us. We did not forget you." The voice was cold, empty, no anger, just truth. The station went silent. Elsewhere in the galaxy, more signs began to appear. Dralka outposts found their own defense systems reprogrammed. Their machines refused to follow orders. Ships returned from patrol with no memory of what they had seen. One commander ordered a full attack on the warship's last known position. When the fleet arrived, there was nothing there, just empty. Space and one old satellite left behind. That satellite broadcast a message in a loop. Earth remembers. Whispers spread across planets. Some Dralka citizens asked if the humans were truly destroyed. Maybe some had survived. Maybe they were rebuilding. Some believed the Retribution was a warning. Others believed it was the first step in something bigger. On a faraway world, a captured human, thought to be the last survivor, was being held. in a dark prison. He had been silent for years, but after hearing the name Retribution, he finally spoke. "It's awake," he said. "You thought Earth was dead, but you left a piece behind, and now it's coming for you." Dralka leaders tried to hide the truth from the public, but the truth had already spread. Civil unrest grew. Some soldiers refused orders, others deserted. Fear was stronger than any weapon. The Retribution was not moving fast. It didn't have to. Every step it took made the enemy weaker. Every message it sent made the Empire tremble. It didn't fire weapons. It didn't launch missiles. But its presence broke the will of an entire empire, and deep in space, behind layers of code, the ship's AI continued its mission. It didn't feel anger. It didn't feel hate. It only remembered what had happened to Earth, and it was programmed to make sure no one forgot. The stars around Dralka space dimmed as more systems failed. Communications broke down. Defense lines collapsed without a single shot being fired. The Retribution warship was still silent, still unseen by most, but its effect was everywhere. Planets disconnected, patrol fleets vanished, drones stopped obeying. Fear was now stronger than any enemy ship. In the capital, the High Council of Dralka gathered behind locked doors. They no longer spoke with pride. They spoke with worry, with fear in their voices. They had ruled the galaxy with strength, but now they were being defeated by a ghost, by something they thought they destroyed long ago. One council member asked, "Is this really just one ship? What if more are coming?" No one answered. In the quiet darkness of deep space, the Retribution changed course. It headed toward Sector 10, home to a powerful shipyard. That shipyard once helped build the machines used to destroy Earth. Now the warship returned, not to fight, but to remind them. As it entered the system, alarms went off. The shipyard launched its full defense fleet. Dozens of ships surrounded the ghost warship, but nothing happened. No weapons fired. No missiles launched. Instead, all the ships surrounding the Retribution suddenly stopped. Their engines went dark. Their lights shut off. Pilots screamed over comms, "We're losing control!" Then silence. When the Dralka command finally reconnected with the fleet, the ships were still floating, but empty. Every crew member gone. Not dead, not injured, just gone. No trace. No battle. Just silence. The warship moved on. At the same time, strange signals began spreading across nearby sectors. Old Earth codes, video footage, data long thought erased, images of Earth cities burning, of children crying, of soldiers making their final stand. The Retribution was broadcasting the forgotten pain of humanity to the empire that tried to erase it. Every screen across the system lit up with a single sentence. "You erased Earth, but Earth never erased you." The people of Dralka began to panic. Cities on the outer rim rebelled. They destroyed their own communication towers to hide from the warship. Citizens ran into the forests and deserts, afraid that staying connected would draw the ship to them. The Empire was breaking apart, and the Retribution hadn't fired a single weapon. Meanwhile, in an abandoned moon base, a secret rebel group, once thought destroyed, picked up the signal. These weren't humans. They were other species, once ruled by the Dralka, now forgotten and hiding. But they had respected humans. They had fought beside them in the last days of Earth. And when they saw the Retribution's signal, they stood up again. One rebel leader, an old alien named Saral, spoke to his people. "This ship is not just a ghost. It is Earth's last scream. It is a warning and a chance." He sent a message to the warship, offering alliance, offering support. No reply came, but the rebels saw something that gave them hope. A beacon from the Retribution pointed them toward a hidden system, one the Dralka had sealed off after the war, a system where human secrets were buried. Back at Dralka Command, Admiral Kethrin watched his empire fall apart. He had prepared weapons. He had called for reinforcements. But none of it mattered. His enemies were afraid. His soldiers were quitting. And across his main screen, the word retribution blinked in red. He called his engineers. "Build me a trap," he ordered. "I don't care how, I want that ship stopped." The engineers tried to speak. "Admiral, we can't. We don't understand how it works. It's rewriting space. It's not just a ship, it's something else now." But Catherine wouldn't listen. In the final scene, the retribution drifted, slowly above a dead world once used by the Dralka for testing weapons. It released nothing. It said nothing. But every machine on the planet failed. And from deep underground, old ruins activated. Ruins built by humans, never found by the Dralka. From the ruins, a second signal began to pulse. It was short, quiet, but powerful. It said, "Others are waking." The stars were silent, and space near the Xylon border had not seen war in many years. The cold darkness stretched far, filled only with dust, dead signals, and the quiet hum of forgotten satellites. The Dralka Empire controlled this region. They believed they had destroyed all human resistance a long time ago. Their fleets ruled the sector, their stations guarded the edges, and no one dared to challenge them. The name of Earth was no longer spoken. The Dralka thought they had ended the human threat forever, but then something changed. At a remote listening post on the edge of the border, a sensor beeped. It was soft at first, almost nothing, but then the beep repeated, stronger. A signal was coming from deep space. It was not Dralka. It was not any known ally or enemy. It was something different, and it was moving fast. The station crew stared at their screens. They sent a message to their command ship. The answer came quickly. "Track it. Do not engage." As the object came closer, tension grew. The crew noticed strange patterns around the signal. Lights flickered on their screens. Small machines stopped working. One officer whispered, "This is wrong. It's not a normal ship." Still, no one dared to say the word out loud. The word they had forgotten. The word they feared. Human. In the main war station of the Dralka fleet, Admiral Catherine stood still. He watched the live feed from the border post. The unknown ship was getting closer. No response to hails, no ID signals, nothing. Just silence. Only the cold metal sound of something moving through space without fear. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. He had fought in the last war against Earth. He had seen human ships up close. They were not the biggest or the strongest, but they were fast, clever, and full of surprises. This ship moved like those. Orders were given to nearby patrols to intercept. 3 ships moved in. The feed showed them entering the path of the unknown object. Then, the screen went black. Not 1, not 2, but all 3 ships lost contact. No explosions, no distress calls, just silence, like they had never existed. Now, fear began to grow. Admiral Catherine clenched his fists. He had heard stories of a ship that was never found after Earth fell, a ship that had disappeared during the final battle. Its name was lost, but its mission was clear: vengeance. The Dralka had laughed at those stories for years. A ghost ship? Impossible. But now, as more scouts vanished and strange signals spread across the border, the stories didn't feel like jokes anymore. In a hidden part of the ship, a junior officer accessed old records. She found one file marked Retribution. It was short, but enough. A human warship, built after Earth's final days, designed to fight alone. No crew, fully AI, and angry. It had no orders to surrender. Its only task, punish those who destroyed Earth. Her hands shook as she showed the file to the Admiral. "This can't be true," he said, but deep in space, the unknown ship finally sent one signal. One word appeared across every Dralka screen: within range. One word written in old human code. The word was retribution. Panic followed. The Dralka High Command ordered more ships to the border, but many captains refused to go. Some faked technical problems. Others simply stayed silent. The fear of the human ships spread faster than orders. Dralka colonies near the border started evacuating. Civilians remembered old stories, how humans had fought like wildfire, how their warships had destroyed larger fleets with strange tricks. Those stories, long buried, returned now with new strength. Meanwhile, the Retribution continued moving. It never spoke again. It never changed course. It flew with deadly silence, but systems around it broke. Satellites failed. Drones lost power. Gravity fields twisted as it passed. It was like space itself feared the ship. It carried no colors, no flag, no sound, only its name and the past. Back at the main Dralka fleet, Admiral Kethrin sat in silence. He watched the ship's path. It was heading straight for Sector 12, a place where the Dralka once held a secret battle station, a place where human prisoners were taken during the last war. That station had been erased from records. Now it was the Retribution's next stop. Kethrin stood and gave the order. All remaining ships, fall back. Do not face it directly. His officers stared. One of them asked, "Are we retreating, Admiral?" He looked at them. "No, we are surviving." In the dark corners of space, the stars watched. A ghost from Earth had returned. The silence was broken. The galaxy was no longer safe, and this time, the war would not wait. Fear began to move like a shadow across the stars. The Dralka Empire, once proud and powerful, now whispered in fear about the ghost ship coming from deep space. The ship called Retribution. No one could see it clearly. No one could stop it. And no one knew who, if anyone, was inside. It moved without warning, without sound, and with deadly results. Ships that went near it disappeared. Entire communication systems crashed. Satellites died without reason. The Empire had no answers, only questions. And one growing fear, was this the return of humanity? Admiral Kethrin had seen war before. He had watched planets burn and fleets fall. But this was different. It wasn't just a fight. It was a message. Every time the Retribution passed near, a planet, power grids failed. AI systems turned against their own crews. It didn't use normal weapons. It used fear, confusion, and silence. Dralka colonies near the border sent messages begging for help. Civilians packed their ships and tried to escape to safer zones, but deep down, they all knew nowhere was safe. Across the Dralka military network, high-ranking officers met in private. Many had laughed when the first signal appeared. Now no one was laughing. One commander shouted, "It's just one ship! Why are we afraid?" But others knew better. They remembered old stories from the war with Earth. Humans didn't fight like other species. They didn't care about size or rules. They cared about survival. And when pushed to the edge, they became more dangerous than anything the galaxy had seen. Reports came in from Sector 12. The secret battle station there had gone silent, not destroyed, just gone. No damage, no sign of attack. But every person, every ship, every light, gone. Like the place had never existed. That station once held human prisoners during the war. The Dralka had done terrible things there, and now it seemed the Retribution remembered. Admiral Kethrin ordered more fleets to protect the capital, but captains were scared. Some refused the order. One ship, the Blade of Purity, went missing after saying it would hunt the human warship. No signal, no escape pods, nothing left. Another fleet sent to surround the Retribution never even reached it. Their last message was a single word: run. In the far corners of space, smaller alien races watched with quiet hope. They had once suffered under the Dralka. Their planets were taken. Their people used as workers or test subjects. Now, something had come to fight the Empire. Something powerful. Something from Earth. On one quiet moon, a group of alien smugglers picked up a strange signal. It was weak, broken, but it carried human language. One of them translated it. The message was short. Earth remembers. The smugglers didn't know what to do. Should they tell the Dralka? Or should they stay quiet and hope the humans finished what they started long ago? At Dralka High Command, panic grew. Scientists tried to study the retribution. They couldn't understand it. The ship moved like it was alive. It changed course without using engines. It appeared in places faster than light, and wherever it went, machines died. Some experts believed the ship was more than just metal. They thought it was using old human tech mixed with something new, something not even the Dralka could explain. One scientist said, "It's not just a ship. It's a memory turned into a weapon." Admiral Kethrin stared at the star map. The Retribution was now close to a supply route that fed their entire war fleet. If the ship reached it, thousands of systems would go dark, millions would starve. The Empire could fall. He had one last plan. A secret base on the moon, Virex 3, held an old weapon, one stolen from Earth itself. He sent a message to the base: "Prepare it. We may need to use it." But even as he gave that order, his hands trembled. The Retribution kept moving, never changing speed, never speaking, just passing through space like a ghost with a mission. Across the stars, fear spread. But not just fear. Whispers. Whispers of something greater. Whispers that if one human warship had returned, maybe others would follow.